Your border collie just got back from a 2-hour walk. You're tired. They're not. They're pacing the hallway, staring at the wall, circling the couch like they're trying to solve something, and you're standing there thinking, what else could they possibly need? Most people land on the same answer: more exercise, a longer route tomorrow, maybe a second walk in the evening. But what if that's exactly the wrong answer? What if the thing your border collie has been waiting for their whole life has nothing to do with miles? Think about what this brain was actually built for. Not fetch, not a jog around the block. 200 years of breeding to make hundreds of micro-decisions per hour on an open hillside: when to move, when to hold, when to push, when to read a single sheep's ear twitch and respond before the animal even moves. That brain doesn't need more distance. It needs somewhere real to go. Welcome to Collie Mind. This channel exists for one reason: to help you understand your border collie the way most owners never do. If you're new here, subscribe now, because what we cover here isn't generic dog advice. It's specific to this breed, this mind, this animal. By the end of this video, you're going to see your dog differently. Let's get into it. Here's the thing most border collie owners get wrong from day one. They treat exercise like a volume dial. Dog is unsettled? Turn it up. Dog is still unsettled? Turn it up more. And it never fully works, so they assume they just need a bigger yard or a longer trail. But a tired body is not the same thing as a satisfied brain, and in a border collie, those are two completely different systems. This breed was shaped over generations to work continuously, not just physically but mentally. On a hillside, a working border collie isn't just running. They're reading the flock, anticipating movement, making decisions, adjusting position, holding pressure, releasing it. The body is almost secondary. The brain is doing the real job. When you bring that dog home and give them a run around the park, you're meeting one need and completely ignoring the other. The body gets tired, the brain doesn't. And a border collie brain that has no job to do doesn't simply rest, it finds its own work. That's where the shadow chasing comes from. The fixating on the ceiling fan, the herding of children at birthday parties, the pacing after you've already walked 5 miles. That dog isn't being difficult. They're doing exactly what their brain was built to do. You just haven't given them anything better to point it at. The fix isn't complicated, and it doesn't require a flock of sheep. Sniff walks where your dog leads the route, not you. Puzzle feeders that make them work for their meal. Hide and seek with a favorite toy. Learning a new cue, not because obedience matters here, but because the process of figuring something out is exactly the kind of mental load their brain is craving. Anything that requires them to think, choose, and solve. Your border collie doesn't need you to run them into the ground. They need you to give their brain somewhere real to go. Once you start doing that, the pacing stops, not because they're exhausted, but because they're finally satisfied. Now this is where it gets specific to this breed in a way most people never consider. Border collies weren't just bred to react to sheep. They were bred to anticipate them, to read microsignals before movement happened, to predict what the flock would do next and be there already. That's not instinct in the loose sense. That's an extreme pattern reading system, and it runs all the time, in every environment your dog is in, including your home. In a house with no predictable rhythm, that system has nothing to lock onto, so it stays active. Your border collie spends the day scanning, monitoring, waiting for information that doesn't come. Feeding time varies, walks happen whenever. You're home at different hours each night. To you, that's just a normal week. To your dog, it's a continuous low-level emergency with no resolution. This is why unpredictable schedules hit border collies harder than almost any other breed. It's not that they're sensitive in a fragile way. It's that their nervous system was designed to read patterns and act on them. And when there are no patterns to read, it never gets to stop working. Genuine rest becomes impossible. So does genuine connection, because a dog whose threat monitoring system is always running can't fully open up to you even when you're sitting right next to them. Consistent feeding times, predictable walk windows, even sitting in the same chair at the same time each evening, these aren't small comforts. They're signals your dog's brain has been waiting for. They say, the information is here, the pattern holds, you can stop scanning now. And when a border collie finally gets to stop scanning, something shifts. They get calmer, more affectionate, less reactive, not because you trained it into them, because you finally gave their brain permission to rest. And when that system goes quiet, something else becomes possible. But getting there requires one more thing most owners never think to give. Most Border Collie owners talk to their dog when no one's watching, in the car, while cooking dinner, on the walk, narrating whatever's going through their head, and then they feel slightly embarrassed about it, like it's a habit they should probably grow out of. They shouldn't, because that instinct they've been quietly following is one of the most real things they can offer this specific breed. Here's why. The Border Collie was built to work in near silence alongside a handler. No verbal commands shouted across a field, a whistle, a glance, a shift in body weight, which means this breed evolved to decode human communication at a level most dogs never reach. They're not reading your words the way you read them. They're reading everything around the words, your posture, your breathing, the tension in your jaw, whether you're calm or somewhere else entirely. Research shows that dogs process speech using both the meaning of words and the emotional tone they're delivered in. Your Border Collie isn't just hearing sound, they're parsing whether you're present or distracted, settled or stressed. And in this breed specifically, that parsing runs deeper than it does in almost any other dog, because they were selected for exactly that sensitivity across hundreds of generations of close human partnership. This connects directly to something called cortisol synchrony, the documented tendency for Border Collies to absorb and mirror their handlers' stress levels. Your emotional state isn't just background noise to your dog, it's information they're actively processing and internalizing. The quality of your voice in ordinary daily moments is quietly shaping their baseline, hour by hour, whether you're aware of it or not. So talk to them, not with cues, not with instruction, just talk. Tell them good morning when you get up, narrate the walk, say something out loud when you get home from a hard day, not because they'll understand every word, but because the act of speaking to them, directly, genuinely, consistently, tells them something no amount of training ever could. It says you are part of this, not a responsibility I'm managing, not a dog I'm exercising, a living thing I'm actually including in my life. Your Border Collie has been listening from the beginning. The question is whether you've been speaking. So let's pull this together, because in a Border Collie these three things don't work in isolation. A job that satisfies the brain, a rhythm the nervous system can finally trust, a relationship built through daily genuine inclusion. These aren't separate items on a checklist. They run as one system, and when one is missing, the others can't fully land. Go back to the dog at the start of this video. 2 hours of walking, and they still couldn't settle. That dog wasn't asking for more miles. They were asking you to understand what they actually are. A brain built for purpose, running in an environment that keeps handing them the wrong solutions. That's not the dog's failure. That's a gap in how the world explains this breed. Border Collies are consistently described as smart, energetic, intense, but those words don't tell you anything useful. They don't explain the pacing, the fixation, the way your dog tracks your mood before you've even noticed it yourself. Understanding does. Pick one thing this week. A walk where your dog leads the route and you stop every time they want to sniff. A feeding time you keep consistent for 7 days straight. 5 minutes on the floor, talking to your dog about nothing in particular. Start there and watch what shifts, not because you fixed something, but because you finally answered something your dog has been asking for a long time. This is what Collie Mind is here for, not general advice repackaged for any dog. The actual psychology of this specific, extraordinary breed. If that's what you've been looking for, subscribe now and share this with every Border Collie handler you know, because most of them are solving the wrong problem every single day, and their dog is waiting for someone to notice.